Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here. Hope you're having a beautiful day. In today's video, I wanted to address a viewer question that I got on the channel recently. And essentially, it went along the lines of, Steve, how are you making money on Amazon when the fees are so high? The fees are so high, Steve. How are you making any money? So let's talk about this right now, because this is actually a more common question than you would think. There's a lot of people who maybe they only do Facebook Marketplace, right? Where they're doing local pickups and there's no fees, right? They buy an item for 20 bucks, a bicycle at a garage sale, and they post it on Facebook Marketplace. They do a local pickup, they meet up, they spend 15 minutes talking to the person, they drive to maybe the nearest police station, they wait there for 20 minutes, the person comes, they chit chat, they do the deal. They're a little bit nervous because, they're thinking, is this person gonna rob me? But regardless, right? They spend their time, they do the deal, they make their money, they sell it for $100, they make $80 profit, it's cash, right? They're not claiming it as income. They're not paying taxes on it. It's 100% free and clear, right? Whereas maybe you're selling on eBay and you have to pay, 13, 14% to eBay as fees, right? And then maybe there's some shipping costs as well and supplies. And then you got Amazon where, depending on how expensive the item is, or depending on if you're a merchant seller or FBA, right? Merchant sellers are like eBay, right? You store it at your house, you pick it, you pack it, you ship it, deal with customer service. Fees are a little less with that versus like FBA, fulfillment by Amazon. You've got to, pay to list everything and ship it out to them, right? So you put everything in a box, you pay for shipping. There's some different fees there. There's storage fees, right? So for every month the item's sitting at Amazon, you're collecting fees. For books and media, it's really pennies, but if you're like dealing with like oversized items, it could add up. And after 6 months, you can hit long-term storage fees and it could really start to, dig into your margins. But you have different fees on the front end with Amazon and on the back end when you sell, so on and so forth. So fees can come to 30 to 35%, sometimes even more. If you're selling like $9, $10 books, the fees can like eat up like almost all your profit. So how are you making money, Steve? How in the world are you making money when the fees are 35%? Well, honestly, this is kind of a silly question because at the end of the day, it's only 35% fees. So there's plenty of money to be made, right? But like I said, if you're dealing with the cheap, the inexpensive, the $9, $10, $11 items, it's eating up almost all your profits. So what's the solution? How am I selling over 6,000 products per year, netting net profit, over $130,000, right? How am I doing that, right? When the fees are so high? Plus, keep in mind, my fees are even higher than what you would think because I have all this overhead, right? I've got 2 virtual assistants who source for me. I've got a virtual assistant who does all my back end, all my, lost shipments, straight inventory, high pricing errors. I've got a full-time bookkeeper. Actually, I have multiple full-time bookkeepers, one for Amazon though. And then I have someone who reprices for me. And I have other virtual assistants that help out as well with like little things in my business that kind of work on like rake and profit or replay catcher, but they kind of like dabble in other things. How am I making money with all this overhead? Well, the solution's easy. I focus on higher ticket items. Right? Now you're thinking to yourself, duh, like obviously, like we all know, like the fees could be super high, but if I could find items that make a $30 profit, $40 profit, $50 profit, then that's obviously the solution, Steve, but I can't do that. Like I can't go to a thrift store and find, like I could find a couple. Sometimes I can go all day and I could find, 10 items that make $30 profit each and do $300 a day, but I can't go sourcing every single day. I don't have time to go out driving all around to library sales and thrift stores and garage sales and all over the place to find those items. So what are you doing, Steve? How are you selling so many items? How are you finding items which consistently make about $30 profit? And actually my average ASP, which stands for average selling price, is over $100. How are you doing that? Well, I do online arbitrage. I buy items on eBay and I flip them on Amazon. Now, this isn't something that I would recommend to a brand new person, right? I get people DMing me and reaching out to me all the time. Steve, I'm an eBay seller. I've been selling on eBay for 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, or I came across your videos. I see you and your mom, you're thrifting, you're doing all that. I don't really want to go to the thrift stores. I don't really want to drive all around town. I don't really want to have to do all that. Like I work a job, I have a family, I have money, I have capital. I want that to work for me. Like I want to start doing what you're doing. And the reality is on Amazon in 2025, and this doesn't benefit me, right? Like I have a software company, Replay Catcher, that helps people find items from eBay to flip on Amazon. I'm incentivized to tell people, go source right now, go start eBay to Amazon. But the reality is when you're new, when you're brand spanking new, you're gonna make mistakes. And I don't want you to lose a bunch of money, because the reality is with what I do, I'm spending $30,000 a month. Matter of fact, I'm ramping it up to $40,000 to $50,000 a month up until November, because I'm just going freaking crazy until November, and then we're gonna stop buying. We're gonna get everything in for Q4. But you don't have to spend $30,000 a month. Like, you can start off spending $1,000, $2,000 a month. But the reality is when you're new, you're gonna be gated in a lot of products. Amazon's gonna be holding your payments. You're not gonna understand Keepa. You're not gonna understand how to analyze deals. And of course, that's a learnable skill. You can learn how to analyze deals. You can learn how to purchase items. You can learn how to list and ship items, but you're gonna make mistakes. So why would you not make mistakes on a budget, buying books for 50 cents or $1 at garage sales or library sales, or getting free books by posting wanted ads on the Nextdoor app or whatever? There's a bunch of different ways that you can find items locally: flea markets, consignment shops, DVDs at pawn shops. I mean, I've made videos about this before. So if you're serious about building, an income stream like I have that makes you a couple $1,000s a month, or $5,000, or for me, it's over $10,000 a month, why not invest 3 to 6 months to learn the business, right? It's like, I don't know, like if you're going to become a plumber, or you're going to get a job in that profession, or even if you're going to buy a restaurant, right? It's because I used to work at the Cracker Barrel and I used to deliver pizza. So I'm always thinking about food and restaurants. But if, like, people who succeed owning a pizzeria, it's probably smart that you work in a pizzeria first, just as an employee, right? And learn how the game works. Like, get paid, even though you're not getting paid a lot of money to go thrifting and doing all that stuff as a beginner, and you might be losing some money. Same as if, like, you want to buy a pizzeria, work in the pizzeria first, learn all the positions, learn the job, make mistakes flipping the pizza, make mistakes burning the pizza, make mistakes, not counting the register correctly. Count the register correctly. But you see what I'm saying now? Like, learn mistakes on a budget. Unless you just got tons of money to burn and you can, make $5,000, $10,000 worth of mistakes and then figure it out. But still, even then, Amazon, the way it works right now, like, there's just a process of, like, earning trust with them. Like, you have to sell items in the beginning to get ungated, to open up your payments. Plus, with like eBay to Amazon, like I've said before, and even with thrifting, you don't want to scale too fast because we don't have invoices. Like, if you're doing pawn shops, thrift stores, eBay to Amazon, like any of these methods in the beginning, you don't want to make yourself look suspicious. Even though you're not doing anything wrong, Amazon sucks nowadays. Like, you can make a lot of money with it, but it sucks in a sense of, like, they don't treat people fairly. You're just another number. There's just an algorithm. It's like AI and robots. And, like, if you make too many sales in the beginning, you do something, or you get an IP or a counterfeit in the beginning, they're going to Section 3 you, ask for invoices, all these different things. So start slow. Okay, start slow, start going to thrift stores, make mistakes, learn the process, learn how to read Keepa charts, learn how to list, learn how to ship. Once you start doing that for about 3 or 4 months, then you could start looking into eBay to Amazon flipping, or Amazon to Amazon flipping, or maybe you want to go into traditional online arbitrage, right? With online arbitrage, you can beat the fees because you can target higher end items. The reason I like eBay to Amazon over just traditional like online arbitrage, you'll see a lot of people on YouTube talking about, shopping from Kohl's and Target and Walmart and these third-party sites, is there's a lot of order cancellations. You're buying multiple quantities of items. So if you get gated or if it tanks, like, you're really screwed. Like, you got to like stack gift cards and find discounts. And like a lot of times you're just going like in on like one deal, and like you're putting a lot of money on one deal. Whereas with eBay to Amazon, we're flying under the radar. We're going after like discontinued items where like there's not a high chance of getting an IP complaint. You're buying 1 or 2 at a time. And even though it seems like it's way more work, it's actually less work if you leverage a virtual assistant or you leverage Replen Catcher. It's really easy to just replenish your stock, and you're going wide instead of deep. So if you get gated on a product, it's not a big deal. If you have an issue with a product, it's not a big deal. If one product tanks, it's not a big deal. Plus, when you're doing eBay to Amazon compared to traditional online arbitrage, there's way less sellers on the listing. It's products that people can't find very easily. Although if you're using Replen Catcher, you can find these items, but like there's millions of products you could potentially flip from eBay to Amazon. Whereas with traditional online arbitrage, there's not always millions of opportunities. There's these good opportunities that come up and then everybody jumps on them, right? Or maybe you have a specific opportunity in your area, but you got to spend all this money and go deep. I feel like the risk of doing traditional online arbitrage is way higher. Plus the margin's like half. So do what you want. I'm just sharing my opinion because I've been in this game for over 10 years and I've played around with traditional online arbitrage and it never works out well. A lot of these guys who are making money with traditional online arbitrage, again, they've got a really good specialized knowledge. There's definitely ways to make money. They're in these tight networks. They find these little opportunities. They all go in on it, but I feel like it's way less beginner friendly compared to doing like eBay to Amazon. And I feel like the risk is lower because you could spend less and the margins are way higher with eBay to Amazon. But that's just what I'm doing, guys. I'm focusing on, again, items that I feel like are flying under the radar. They are slower selling in a sense where they might only sell 1 to 10 times per month, but there's only 1 or 2 or 3 sellers on the listing. And they sell fast, even though they're slow sellers, because there's not many people on the listing and there's a demand. But again, you know, supply and demand, if there's not a lot of supply and there's enough demand, you could sell your stuff quick, even if on Keepa and SellerAmp, it doesn't look very popular, if that makes sense. So don't worry about the fees, guys. Like, the cool thing is when you're sourcing from like eBay to Amazon or Amazon to Amazon, or you're sourcing from home, whatever you're doing, you could run all your numbers through SellerAmp, which is a tool that I use. It's a Chrome extension. It's also a mobile app where you can pretty much pull up the sales page and SellerAmp will pop up on it, and you can put in your buy cost and you can put in your selling price, and you could even have it pull out like additional fees. Like if you have a prep fee or a miscellaneous fee, it'll pull out all the Amazon fees and you can see the profit, you could see the ROI, you could see the sales rank, you could see the monthly sales. So you don't have to buy anything. Like, you're not guessing. Like, there's a big fat Keepa chart there on SellerAmp, or you can go into Keepa. Like, you don't have to buy anything that you're not super comfortable with. So in my business, we're not buying items for the most part that aren't over 50% ROI and at least $8 profit. My average profit per flip is about $32 right now. My average selling price, like I said, is over 100. We're targeting specific items and we're only buying items that we know are going to make really good money, and the fees don't really matter because the fees are baked in. Do you see what I'm saying? The fees are already baked in. We're analyzing it on the front end. The fees are baked in. So I don't care what the fees are. The fees could go up to 60%. Now, obviously I wouldn't like that on Amazon because it would squeeze the amount of products that I can source, right? Instead of having 20,000 items I could source today, squeeze it down to 5,000, right? There'll always be deals there. So I'm not like super duper concerned with the fees, right? Obviously I keep it in mind. I don't want to be buying items all the time that are getting returned because there's fees for, you know, dealing with the returns and destroying it. And I don't want to be buying items that are going to sit for 6-7 months. My average item sells within a month or less, because again, there's fees for that. So I'm keeping all the fees into consideration, but I'm running it on the front end through SellerAmp when I'm analyzing it with a replay catcher, and I'm not really concerned with it. I just care about, this is what I care about. How much money can I make on my capital? That's all I care about. And how quickly can I get it back? It's a game of literally, like, I feel like I'm an investor in my Amazon business because I'm not running it anymore. All my virtual assistants run the business. All I am is the guy who has the Amazon seller account, has the capital, gave my team the game plan, and I just look at the numbers every single week, every single month. I've actually got a video coming out that shares all the KPIs, the key performance indicators that I look at every single week, compare them, items sourced, average profit. You can see it, right? I'm not just saying this stuff. Maybe I'll put a screenshot here of that video, or that my little spreadsheet that I have. We track it week by week. So we track how much we spent, how much profit, potential profit we'll make, net profit with seller board. So this isn't a guessing game, guys. When you actually get into this game and you learn and you do it the right way, it's not a guessing game. You're literally just putting your money to work for you. But again, it takes time, and I wouldn't recommend starting with what I'm doing in the beginning. I would just hit the thrift stores hard, like I said, and eventually after 3 to 6 months, start getting into this, or Amazon to Amazon flips, or some form of online arbitrage, whatever you're comfortable with. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. And if you want to learn more about selling books, if you want to meet me in person, if you want to hang out with other Amazon sellers, check out the Books and Beyond conference. It's going down October 10th to the 12th in Las Vegas. So definitely check that out. We're pumped up. We got a bunch of speakers. It's multiple days. It's in Vegas, right off of Fremont Street. And it's going to be freaking epic. We've got people there who are crushing it with eBay to Amazon, with, you know, Amazon to Amazon flips, selling books, all different types of models. So definitely check it out. I'll put a link down below in the description. But with that being said, much love. See you in the next one.